Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, here to the Excello ZOWIE TF2 Challenge number 4, the invite bracket grand final between Team Infused in the blue and Epsilon eSports in the red. A grudge match between the two, which we're going to see a lot over the next coming week. My name is ThePledge, with me is DJC, and here on CP Badlands, the first middle is commencing.
We do see both teams just playing pretty passively on the train. wltrs and Mike are the first casualties. Probably a better trade for Infused, honestly, but JoeyC also goes down. Epsilon with 2 picks here. F2 goes down to a nice play from Hat, but Ben Crazy goes down instantly. It's 2v1 right now, just Infused Pledge, also known as numlocked. He is taken down by Stefan in the valley. And Epsilon take a rather convincing mid-win. I mean, they don't have their medic up, but he will spawn. They'll have even Uber, and they should be able to get pressure on Spire before Infused can even hope of contending.
Numlocked actually did change his name, so if you reload your HUD, you should be able to see that. He is not called Pledge for like a second. He changed it just before the game started. So we're going to see Epsilon pushing straight through Infused, realizing obviously F2 did die during that middle fight. So just barely in the end, they can actually block that off. Schocky and Knox have gone down though, and Infused are probably just going to push through to this. They know the Ubers are more or less equal. They have a 2-player advantage. Why not?
They're trying to come through choke right now. Seb taking the initiative here as Hat gets healed up and clears some sticky. Epsilon backing up through choke. They know they have the spawns coming. There's half cap still on the Spire, and Epsilon know that the Ubers are even. So they could just get healed up here and try and re-push, but it looks like they're not going to contest mid. They're going to hold yard. Ben's Crazy's actually taken some damage, so it looks like Infused are going into house a little bit here to get him the help.
They actually left Mike on the Spire as well, just in case there was a backup going. Very clever play from Infused there. Losing JoeyC, that's definitely not going to be very nice. It's questionable if Epsilon's actually going to push through this. Knowing them, they will push from house. Yes, they already have 2 soldiers there. F2 is being forced to Uber about 5 seconds before the Uber from Infused does get forced. A little bit of an advantage there from Epsilon, and they need to make sure that they don't lose their soldiers early. wltrs does go down, and Infused most certainly is going to push through this choke. And we'll see what's going to happen here, as Infused with a 2-player lead most certainly are going to push onto the Spire. And let's see if Epsilon is going to be able to just defend this properly. I don't think they are, considering that they have gear for 10 seconds off. But Infused actually not that aggressive so far, DJC.
Epsilon do have a soldier in position. I'm interested. Extremers on Grey Bridge right now, lobbing stickies up to the point, and the spawns have come for Epsilon. Unfortunately, Knox goes down rather quickly here. That's going to hurt any chance Epsilon had of holding the Spire, but if they had kept their players up there, they had a good chance. Extremer goes down as well to JoeyC. That's a huge pick going into last. wltrs is on 8 health as well. He will go down. It's F2 in gear versus the entire Infused squad. Infused have a huge advantage as well. Mike is on last, hitting some rockets, juggling gear away from the point. Gear does finish him off, but he gets so capped that JoeyC can just run straight on it and finish it off. That's the first round to Infused.
Yep, solid 3-minute round there as Infused, definitely winning this. It looks like Epsilon still kind of having to find the mood. They have a long day of officials ahead of them, long week of officials ahead of them, so they still have some time. But obviously this is a tournament final. You actually want to win this. There's prizes on the line, and Epsilon certainly are going to have to bring it on this middle.
Yeah, we do see, again, just passive train play. There's a soldier in the valley. That would be Mike working on the closet right now for Epsilon. He makes a huge bomb. Huge play by numlocked. Gets 3 sticky kills onto Gear, Schocky, and F2 in quick succession. He does go down with Mike though, and it's 3 versus none right now. A wipe for Epsilon. Ben's Crazy stays up. 90% Uber right now. They're going to push ahead with a scout. JoeyC will start the cap here. There's another 3 seconds on these spawns for Epsilon. They're going to have to hold last. This is the situation where you would like to see Epsilon get up maybe a sentry, a heavy, but they never really seem too keen on doing that. They usually rock with like a little pyro defense off of wltrs sometimes, and we do see that. But we do see Knox going heavy here. He's known for his heavy play. wltrs will try and play forward and deny the Uber the entryway into lab.
Schocky usually just stays scout for as long as he possibly can. Knox is the guy who switches to heavy if needed, and wltrs always rocking that pyro or that sniper and spawn that we've seen from time to time. They have a big Uber disadvantage though, 30% still, and they're leaving F2 a long time to build. They should hit just barely before that though, but F2, if he walks back into spawn and keeps on building, maybe. I don't think so though, because Infused very efficiently right now going towards this point, and it's going to cap it 2-0. Third middle's going to come up, and Epsilon, like, they won the first one barely. They lost the second one quite heavily, actually. The fact that they got 2 or 3 individual frags, it doesn't really say a lot, because the push from numlocked, where he got 3 players at the same time with the same amount of stickies, very clever, very nice forwarded play by Infused, and they're certainly going to look to repeat that right here.
Extremer a little slow to middle here. numlocked gets the first sticky out, and then a bomb right into the house. Extremer goes down to Mike. Huge play from him, but we pause. and neuter the action, but it looks like Mike's about to go huge inside Epsilon's house.
Oh, look at that Mike shot, I love it.
Yeah, F2's on 35 health, and Mike is staring right at him with shotgun at the ready. It's a question of if Nox can hit this rocket on Mike in time or not. And this isn't live, the result of this has already been predetermined. The pause happens much later, but it's a fun little game for us watching to see whether or not Mike can get this kill here.
Obviously, this is not, like, they don't pause in the middle of a round. Obviously, there's a 90-second delay, so it's gonna... yeah, 90 seconds into the future they have paused, and actually the rule that you have to pause at like the end of a round doesn't exist anymore, so it doesn't spoil anything. That used to be the case where you were like, well, in 90 seconds someone I guess wins the round. That's, yeah, how can you make that sound exciting? But right now that actually changed. So we'll see.
We can make it exciting with some fake enthusiasm if we need to, call it like it's the last round of the last map of I-46 and we really need to. But, Epsilon, I don't know, man. It seems like Stefan has definitely suffered from playing Shoot Mania. I mean, this is the first day he's been back at his computer at home after spending the weekend in Paris playing at that LAN. I don't think he got in any practice yesterday. Epsilon didn't get a warm-up PCW in because this is obviously happening an hour early.
Yeah.
And Infused did have at least 4 of their players practicing beforehand. And it shows because Cookye right now is even more insane than he normally is, and JoeyC is even playing quite well himself. So the scouts are doing quite a bit, and they're probably the most important class to warm up in TF2 is the scouts, and Epsilon are clearly suffering. I mean, Walter's on 1 point at the moment.
Surprisingly, what I noticed, like I'm looking at the frags right now, we have a little bit of downtime, so I might as well, is that the soldiers from Epsilon, Gear and Nox, are actually top fragging for them at the moment. Obviously, it's the first 5 to 10 minutes, you don't really, you can't really say a lot about it, but usually it's the Dillman and the scouts from Epsilon really are topping the board, and then there's a huge gap, and then the soldiers from Epsilon, that's just their way of playing. I'm not saying that the soldiers are bad or anything, it's just what they do. And right now, seeing the soldiers up top, I really got to question how much are the Epsilon players prepared for this aim-wise, especially the scouts and Extremer to back that up. I mean, Extremer's going to have a tougher job just making his play work if the scouts don't have their aim on. And in case Cookye and JoeyC do have actually going into this build, did Mike get him?
Yeah,
Mike did not actually get him.
Mike did not get him. Nox took him down. We do see Gear and Schocky go down, though. F2 not really in position. It's F2, Walters, and Nox alive. They're not in any position to contest this. They will be able to keep Uber for Spire. But their spawns are so late, they won't have their demo man with them. They will have no spam on at this point. They're probably going to have to give it the Spire. Walters is dancing around on the lower level trying to contest, but he's on low health. We'll have to back up. The Epsilon combo holding on balcony. They're getting flanked right now. JoeyC on F2 forces the Uber. A very early pop here. Infused are milking this for all it's worth. They haven't even popped yet. Ben's crazy on 40 health. Wow, Nox does go down.
Epsilon loves doing this kind of stuff though, DJC, where they basically come out from the balcony, have an Uber disadvantage, like at all. Like they spend about 10 seconds actually making Infused Uber, but they kill off players left to right because they all come from one spot. That's exactly, you could see what happened. So they kill 3 or 4 players, and then Ben crazy, he can Uber at whatever he wants, but it's 3 versus 6, and a 10-second Uber is going to help slightly, but you're still going to lose out on that fight.
Yeah, it feels like one of the problems that my team playing in America had last season is that we waited so long to counter Uber that we were just not in a position to fight. And Infused lost their opportunity to fight there by holding onto that for so long. I mean, the combo was there, the Uber was about to expire. If Infused just pop and re-push, they'll probably take that fight easily, and instead turns the other way completely. We do see JoeyC on Pyro on last here. Wants to deny Epsilon's entry. They're at 90%. Numlocked does have an aggressive sticky trap on the front door. Oh, he gets F2 and Extremer with that.
Straight after
Nobody
the pause
checked
as
the
well,
door.
just in case you didn't notice in the chat, everyone, apparently it was just straight after the pause that Numlocked actually got the kill on the down and on the medic. Very well played to him. Obviously Epsilon wasn't really paying attention there. They're getting Mike though, so a little bit of soldier play on this Spire is going to get denied, but they need to kill scouts. If Epsilon wants to have any chance of holding to the Spire, the scouts need to get taken down. It looks like they're not even going to do anything.
Walters is going for a back cap. Both scouts on last for Epsilon. They take down Hat instantly and cap last. Great back cap. Great coordination from both scouts. They attacked from 2 different angles, and had no chance.
Extremer blocked that Spire as well. He jumped up. I was watching the Spire at the time, and Extremer blocked it like at about 3/4 in, making sure that the scouts could actually cap that off. So great coordination coming out from Epsilon. Might be the start of something nice, as we have a 2-1 scoreline right now. Both Devilman are entering this 4th middle, and maybe the scouts from Epsilon can do a lot more work than they have done so far.
Aggression on the train from Infused here. Extremer actually went window, knowing that last mid Mike just bombed straight in the house. F2 down very quickly here. Numlocked just pushing across the train into the house. Walter's down as well. Cookye and Numlocked and Hat down for Infused. This fight is pretty even so far. It's 3v2 right now. But Mike has heals, and everyone on Epsilon is pretty hurt. If Mike wants to contest this, he really could probably get a 3 kill here. It's 50 health for the demo, 40 for the soldier. The only one who really has enough health to engage right now is Stefan, but looks like Mike is just going to be content, sit at choke right now, wait for the respawns. They do have Uber. Epsilon really need to force here. They don't want to get into an Uber versus no Uber fight in their yard. Mike hits a nice direct onto the scout here. Stefan on 20 health. He's dancing around the train. Soldier aggression. Both soldiers for Epsilon coming in here.
Oh my god, he drops
Ben's
Uber,
crazy
Ben
drops
lost.
the Uber in-house. Oh, that is just a very bad play
That's
on the
not
part
good.
of Ben.
Yeah.
Not at all. F2 is getting pushed out of choke. There's a scout on him. JoeyC takes him down. Finishes him off. There's 2 health on gear here fighting 2 players. But Infused will take this in spite of the Uber drop.
Well played by JoeyC actually coming out from the backhand side and meat-shotting some players. So what you want to do as a scout, you want to come into that fight at the start, show yourself, and then kind of back out and then come back in later afterwards. Because there's a lot of players weak, a lot of players very vulnerable to a flank. And if you hit at that moment in time, you can get 3, maybe 4 kills, really help your team out as long as your combos stay alive.
Epsilon are in a decent position to hold this. Extremer's on the balcony, he's got stickies on the point. Infused have just taken the choke. F2 is rotating to trash with his soldier right now. It looks like we're going to have a combo engagement here. Extremer has the height advantage, though. He's getting good spam. There is Hat on F2. Taken down by Extremer, though. And the back cap has been started. This is Walter getting chased into Infused Valley here by both scouts. Infused have all backed up to middle. Epsilon have taken this opportunity to get to choke and hold, and a nice miracle pipe. I'm assuming that was a roller that took Cookye down on mid. Yeah. Extremer out of position here right now, though. He's on a Haunter. His combo comes back through to greet him. Epsilon are going to get pinched out here because there's a scout behind them now. Infused are pushing out. One soldier out of Haunter. Demo through choke takes down gear. Uber popped by Infused pretty early here. Epsilon milk it a little bit. They get the counter, but they do have to multi a bit. Numlocked is sticking the choke off. Ooh, soldier getting through, though. In fact, Soldier and Demo through Ben Crazy and Numlocked to go down. Cap being taken here. Soldier onto F2, and a follow-up as well by the other Soldier. Infused are going to win another fight, it looks like. Where they started off with such a huge disadvantage. The Cap is so close. It's just gear up. He's a fresh respawn. He's going to balcony. That was very well played by Infused. Great focus firing to take down those targets there.
Yeah, definitely. Looks very good. Epsilon, they're showing a little bit of their play that we're used from them. Obviously, it's a 2-1 scoreline. We're getting a little bit of a close game in. And you can see in that fight, if there's a massive fight going on, both medics alive, Uber's alive, anything like that, the fights are going down to the wire. It's like only 2 or 3 players usually survive that, and a late spawner to make for a total of 4 players alive after like a big fight. And that really shows how close these teams are so far. They're really trying to edge each other out, really on a scout behind, or just one medic being 5% Uber ahead. Little advantages, that's what it's going to come down to. And so far, Epsilon a little bit behind, but obviously, as we said, like they've all been playing a lot of Shoot Mania, and we'll see how they're gonna fare for the next 10 minutes when it's basically they're gonna get warmed up, they're gonna get their aim straight, and we'll see how Infused is going to be able to deal with that.
Infused do have Uber right now, but Epsilon are only a few % away. Both scouts up for Infused right now. Looks like Epsilon are going to try and block this and get the back cap going. Numlocked goes up as well. They do not block it in time. One scout is trying to go to last, but he's being fought by a Demo and a scout. And Cookye just comes through main and cleans up gear. This is going to be a wipe for Epsilon, it looks like. Actually, Extremer's coming back to last. In a good position to defend this, but he's taking good damage. He can't really get on the point. And both scouts just run onto it and take it. That's a 3-1 to Infused here. Epsilon looking all kinds of disorder, just out of sync so far.
That really was all down to not blocking that Spire, though. Like, they Ubered, and it just looked like they were a second too late on that Spire to actually block that. Sounds like miscommunication to me, where we had one soldier actually not jumping while he could during that Uber, not blocking that point, and obviously after that, you need to defend last while actually attacking, and that's not going to work out. Now in this middle, we see Mike immediately bombing onto Extremer. Very well played to him, taking him down, and that's a trade you want to take any day. Aroma for Devilman, very efficient, and it looks like Infused somehow, some way, is just actually going to push through here all the way as Epsilon Epsilon was actually in a prime position there. They lost it down early. They just went up to the point, and then suddenly Infused players everywhere, and they still have 6 players alive, and only a streamer as an early spawner is going to stay alive here.
Yeah, we do see what I talked about in the pregame coming into play here. I mean, Extremer was beneath the train fighting. He wasn't really expecting the aggression out of Mike. He's not used to, like, the soldiers jumping him. He doesn't know when to expect it. He doesn't know when to expect a scout to rush him. And there Mike got on him so quickly. Extremer didn't even look at him. He didn't know he was in the air until he got launched into Valley, and then Mike just finished him off cleanly. That could play a big part as we go to the second map of this, or even later on in this first map, if Extremer cannot adapt. We do see Uber up for Infused here, though. A sniper for Epsilon's gear. He's going to have to switch, though, as the Uber is popped. Numlocked is focusing down Extremer. Mike goes down on the flank, but another scout just runs onto the cap, and nobody even blocks it for Epsilon. 4th round to Infused.
Infused looking very solid so far. Like, they're not doing anything in particular that's special or weird or original in any way, but they're playing very solid, barely making any mistakes. And Epsilon is making it way too easy for them. They can do whatever they want. You can send in Mike bombing very, very early. Look at Extreme is actually staying in house, like completely staying. He's like, I'm not going to get killed here, and we're going to play with it down and aggressive. And then Mike bombs in, still gets everyone inside of that house. That is just, oh my god, that's awful from Epsilon.
Yeah, they have to have someone else deal with Mike. Like, Extremer can't be the one shooting Mike because it's just not going to work, especially if he has to sit in house to delay it. That's another 6 up for Infused, 0 up for Epsilon. They do have F2 spawning. They're well behind on Uber, but they could at least get overheals onto their players here when they spawn and try and defend off of that. Just last as long as they can during the Uber. Mike does come in, though, and get Walter. That's a Mike down. That's not a huge pick, but Infused for some reason haven't started the cap. There we go, JoeyC gets up. Extremer's in a position to contest this down, but this could get dangerous. If Hat wants to jump the balcony here, Extremer does sticky it off preemptively, expecting it though. And Schocky goes down as well, but Hat down. They're going to try and contest this. Epsilon jump both soldiers up to the spire. They're getting good spam. Numlocked takes a lot of damage, but he's got the medic with him now, and gear is down. Uber is popped in trash here by Infused, and a big pipe that just hits Knox and takes F2 down with him as well. So that will be wltrs up versus the 5 players for Infused. No spawns really coming. It's wltrs and Stefan up right now.
It's 3 seconds, so if they can delay a little bit, they'll have a spawn right now. So we'll see if that's going to be in time. No, it is not. So we have a 5-1 scoreline already for Infused. They make it look easy, DJC.
Yeah.
They just keep on moving through, and Epsilon kind of falling apart here. One after the other. Like, they need to deal with Mike some way, somehow here on middle. Maybe have a scout focus him while he's in mid-air to shut him down, or at least do a lot of damage. But hiding in house and playing it safe and then having the bombing soldier come in and still kill your combo, that's just a very bad sign. And we can see Mike already behind the Epsilon team right now. They did spot him though, and maybe Epsilon can do something here as they go very aggressive. They get a couple of frags, but it looks like Infused once again is probably going to prevail barely.
Yeah, Extremer did go window there to avoid Mike's aggression, but Mike ends up getting to him anyway, flanking through the valley, and F2's on the run right now. I mean, I think that's what Epsilon have to do on these middles, if they get another one this map anyway, is have Extremer go window, get some soldier aggression to keep the pressure of him. Extremer did do good damage, it's just they didn't really follow up on it all that well. That's the situation where you normally expect wltrs and Stefan to come in and just clean everything up.
Yeah.
They're not playing quite up to form today, and we see wltrs go down in valley right now. Epsilon do have their Uber up. They're down a scout, but that won't hurt their Spire defense too much. They do have their demo. He can spam that point from anywhere. They do have both soldiers standing on the Spire right now, not even letting them get near cap. We've seen how poorly it's worked out before when they take cap. Mike is jumping up through the drop down right now, though. The soldier's going back to greet him. Extremer's going to have to rotate here, get into a new position so he doesn't get killed by Mike. The Uber is popped by Epsilon at show. Confused counter quickly. Numlocked trying to stay out of this fight and just get good spam. Cookie's in deep though and is taken down. 6 up for Epsilon and now 4 up as Hat is taken out at choke. wltrs going very aggressive here. Stefan comes in and cleans up Mike. Big plays by the Epsilon scouts here. They got 4 kills. One of these scouts getting a kill. 5 now, yeah.
Finally, I almost want to say that. Like, it's about time that Schocky actually stood up and said, you know what, screw all of you. I'm gonna do this, and then we're gonna do it by myself. Just rushing in. Epsilon just kind of there. They kind of looked frustrated to me. They're like, okay, you know what? It's 6 versus 4. We're just going to do this. We're just going to push him. We're going to make this happen very, very aggressively. It's exactly what they did. managed to work out super well for them, considering they took the Spire straight afterwards, and now with a big Uber advantage, they're going to come into last here quite soon. They do the standard Epsilon double soldier on right-hand side first. Not getting any picks against a team like Infused. They know that's going to happen, and now the Uber's going to roar in here to last, and Infused probably the only thing they can do is look, unless this Pyro can do some work here in main.
The Pyro is taken down quickly. One soldier just got through JoeyC on Pyro and jumped top right. We see both scouts and the soldier down, and Epsilon take that without the demo or other soldier even being able to get on point. I'll be interested to see what Epsilon does this middle. They kept Extremers safe last time and it almost worked out for them, and it looks like wltrs and Stefan are back in their groove after that last repush. So I'll be watching Extremer closely here. It looks like he isn't window. It looks like he's going to go through Valley with his combo, and numlocked actually going window. Another quick jump by Mike. He's on 5 health, taken out, but Schocky's down. That's a big hit to Epsilon if he's going to play as well as he was last round. Epsilon do have huge control of the train right now. Infused can't even contest, but that is Cookye, excuse me, is actually in Epsilon's house right now. JoeyC there now as well. Scout's going to greet up and hold hands and try and make a play here. Infused pushing in through choke. Soldier bombs in. Cookye with a huge pick on the F2 right before he gets Uber. And this is going to go, the cap will go Epsilon's way, but Infused have an easy repush here if they want this. They're being forced back to the Grey Bridge right now by a soldier peeking on Haunter. Wow, that was a pretty intense mid. That went entirely differently from how I expected it to.
Well, I love that tactic, though, where you basically have one demo man waiting for the buff and then jumping onto the enemy train. You have a soldier jumping the enemy train, and then one soldier together with your medic going through shithouse. You basically get total domination over the enemy train, and it just, for a demo man like Extremer, that works out very, very well. Infused actually managed to save their medic, though, so that's going to help them during this push. Big Uber advantage. Numlocked does get dropped, though. A little bit of a mistake there from Crazy, and we'll see in what way that's going to affect them. Cookye goes down as well, so I think, yeah, they're going to come in here, and yeah, they're going to be alright, but Epsilon actually only losing one player, now losing both their scouts.
Down. Huge play there by JoeyC and Mike, and Crazy goes down on a knock. Extremer taking down JoeyC. F2's on extremely low health. He gets airshot by Extremer, and craters. There's that pipe aim we were talking about. Saved F2's life, probably. He was on such low health, and that soldier was trying to get to him. It's just Cookye and numlocked up. Numlocked can probably get enough spam on this spider to lay it. Cookye runs into choke! Somehow survives past the first 2 shots, which amazed me. Couldn't get any damage out, though. It's just numlocked right now. JoeyC and Crazy are on last. There's 100% Uber here. JoeyC trying to move out drop down and maybe make a play. Looks like he's just going to back up, actually. And there's a soldier on upper lobby right now, forcing F2 here. Numlocked does go down in the process, though. That's not a very good trade for Infused, but the Pyro does huge damage on the knock. Wow, but the scouts do get in for Epsilon. They start the cap. It's 3 versus 4.
As long as Extremer stays alive, though, there's always the chance that Epsilon actually caps this. There's a scout on the medic. wltrs did get shut down, though. But with Extremer, is Extremer still alive? Yes, he is. Nox alive as well, so I think they're going to be they're going to be fine holding this Spire, and I don't think there's a lot that Infused can do here. Like, they have a big advantage, and they are going to try, but there's a lot of Epsilon players alive, and they have a quicker spawn onto the Spire than Infused has, and we'll see the first pick coming down to Hat, and Infused very easily just deciding, you know what, we're getting out of here, this is too risky, and you really, in Infused's shoes, DJC, you don't want to lose this round. If you give Epsilon the chance to make it 5-3, suddenly, like with 8 minutes remaining, suddenly you're in a world of hurt as Infused, that you don't want to have that happening. So right now they're just going to wait for their Uber. Epsilon's going to push it. Oh my god! They have a rookie mistake.
Yeah, they pushed Nox in through main to create a huge distraction. Schocky just ran in lower and walked straight on the point, and I mean, that's like TF2 101. You make him look one way, and then you come in from the other direction. You wouldn't expect Infused to fall for that, but they had pretty bad health. They were a little disorganized on that hole.
That's Gaming 101, really, especially in TF2, like, it just works very well. See Schocky immediately running through that valley area, so aggressive, he's going to shut down a scout. Well played to him. He is going to get shut down, but taking Cookye out of the game, it's obviously a very good move. He's one of the strongest players on the Infused side, and Epsilon going to pick up this middle, and if they manage to make it 5-4, right now, I can actually see this match go down to a wire and Epsilon taking it.
Yeah, we do see only numlocked up for Infused right now, along with their medic. They're going to try and spam this, but this is a really risky play if Infused try and hold this Extremer and a scout already on the cap. There will be 6 up for each side. It'll be interesting to see how quickly Epsilon push here. Gear looked like he was going to come up on heavy. I guess he was just forward spawning. I was hoping. I really wanted to see the heavy push into last, but few European teams satiate my desire for that. We will see a standard defense from Infused here. No pyro, no heavy, no sniper, no NG. They're just going to get their normal classes and try and hold this on even ground, because they've been winning a lot of these even fights so far.
Yeah, we'll see how Epsilon's going to manage to push this out. I think they're just going to do the standard Epsilon, which is send in Nox or send in Gear early and just kind of try and force a push or force a pick somewhere else. Excuse me, that was what I was trying to say. They actually tried. Schocky did go down though, and usually what Epsilon does is they try to force a pick, and if they get it, they'll push in 6 versus 5. If they don't get it, they kind of fall back, play a little bit safe on the Spire, and then try it again, unless there's like too little time left. We'll see how this is going to pan out as Schocky is back up. No sniper or anything from his side. And we'll see. Is Epsilon going to push in right now, or are they still going for that pick buy?
Looks like we're getting some aggression here from Nox. Tries to force, gets good damage out, but not really enough. But we do see Cookye go down, and Scout runs directly on a point. JoeyC and Cookye down for...
Yeah, there's the Uber Force. That's what I was talking about.
Traded.
You get the Uber Force, and Epsilon actually has an advantage here. They are going to push in. It's a 5 versus 4 scenario with one player, Cookye,
Ben's crazy goes
spawning
down.
in just a second, and I think Epsilon might have done it, DJC. It's going to be a 5-4 scoreline, unless Cookye can do some miracle work here. 5-4 is the scoreline with 6 minutes, 15 seconds left on the clock.
They traded Ubers there. And
Epsilon is refinding their strength, their morale, and everything. And I think if they win this middle, chances are very good for them to actually take this map home.
Yeah, they ended that fight and they just backed out and decided to get better heals. Infused heals were kind of in the wrong places there, and Epsilon were just able to win the fight off of that pretty much. We do see some scout aggression here. Epsilon scouts going aggressively into Infused. Hat does jump though, take the pressure off of his own scout. Nox is getting aggressive as well. Schocky takes down JoeyC to a crater. Gear goes down the other side, but Ben's crazy down to wltrs. wltrs just sneaks in through the shithouse, gets directly on. And Infused are all bunched up in their house here. Numlocked is in Epsilon shithouse though, and he's trying to get aggressive. He's got stickies up on the train. They don't realize he's there at all. Numlocked could make a play here. Or did he actually get out? No, he's just still sitting there hiding. They do finally spot him. He's got stickies down. He's on very low health and he's taken down. Full Uber advantage for Epsilon. Looks like we're going to have a push here to try and make this a 5-5 round with 5 minutes on the clock.
Thing is though, DJC, I'm going to ask you this now because I don't have time for it in 5 minutes. Is Infused falling apart, or is Epsilon getting together properly?
I think a lot of this comes down to the fact that Epsilon just were not warmed up, whereas all of the important classes for Infused were. We do see the Uber pot through main, however, Nox pushing behind the point. Numlocked goes down. That's the biggest pick they can have, and they can round his cap without really any contest coming onto the point. And
what is happening here? We had a 5-1 scoreline. Everything looked in favor of Infused, and suddenly Epsilon just kind of just completely turning it around. We have a 5-0 scoreline right now. Everything can happen. 4.5 minutes remaining left on the clock. It looks like Extremer is going to go the regular way now. He's going to wait for that buff. He's going to come out from main, but we see the Mike. No, he's not really a bomb actually. Mike playing it very safe. Just walking onto the train, getting some damage in, and finally there's a middle that is really going Infused's way so far.
Yeah, and there's a scout in Epsilon's house, but he's taken down. It's 4v5 here. The health on Epsilon is not good. Infused are pushing quickly with it, but Epsilon are smart enough to back up to the bridge here. And if you want to see the huge difference in why this map is turning around, you're going to see that Schocky and wltrs on the top of the scoreboard now as opposed to the bottom. Looks like Epsilon kind of want to jump this. Nox goes up, he gets good damage on that scout. Extremer jumps as well, spamming the combo here. Epsilon are in good position to force this Uber. The health on Infused is so bad, but they haven't popped.
Low health, like they have an Uber
and they're not
right
blocking.
Now,
Epsilon have popped. Yeah, Epsilon popped and do finally block, but they lose 3 in that exchange. Infused working their milking of the Uber worked out quite well for them there, as there's now 4 down. Just F2 and wltrs. wltrs at 19 health. I think he's trapped in the forward respawn. It's F2's Needles versus JoeyC here.
Extremer's gonna have to clutch this, to be honest. Oh
and
my
he
god!
Does! 3 kills by Extremer.
Fantastic shot from him, and that's Extremer like we knew him about a year ago when he's still playing full time. That's fantastic coming out from the Delman from Epsilon. Kind of the sort of, you know, Randa's not here, Extremer plays. He's doing fantastically so far.
Yeah, he hit a huge pipe there after getting 2 sticky kills. May have saved the round. I mean, it's a 50% Uber advantage for Infused. Epsilon only at 20% right now. They're gonna have trouble getting this. They do have the Pyro up. They'll want to delay this as long as they can. Extreme even getting some aggressive stickies. JoeyC goes down instantly. That is not gonna help Infused. There's a soldier in main taking good spam as well. Scout onto the medic! Is he gonna force? He doesn't do any damage to the medic there.
I love how Epsilon is stalling with those two soldiers in main. Nox is going to bite the dust though, but Gear still onto that stairs area. Uber does get popped long time ago actually already in F2. Probably going to bite the dust barely 20 seconds.
How is Extremer alive? He's on 30
God.
health right now. He does get taken down by Mike, who took down F2 and Extremer. It's 2 up for Epsilon. They can't even get to the point in time. That is the round. We have 2 minutes and 10 seconds left for Epsilon to draw this even and take us to a golden cat pledge. Do you think they can do it?
Yeah, I have no idea, to be honest. I think it all's going to come down to this middle. 2 minutes is a time where even if you lose middle, you can actually still manage to make it work. But if Epsilon's medic goes down and the one of Infused stays alive, I see very slim chances. So they're going to do that strategy once again, where they have both soldiers jumping into the enemy train very early, but the early picks on the scout from Epsilon are very important for Infused. And I don't think Epsilon can do anything but retreat with F2 alive, build that Uber, and then push on from there.
Hat and numlocked are already moving through choke. Hat just gonna get some spam here. Numlocked's gonna lead a push. It's 3 up for Epsilon. They will have Uber. They know they need to fight here and win here. They're not gonna win this round if they fight in their base. That is why they pop the Uber. They're getting aggressive. Ben's crazy does pop. Hat's trying to jump onto the combo here as the Uber expires. Infuser is swarming in right now. There's a 1v1 between scouts on the spire. Cookye goes down, but Extremer goes down. Huge for Epsilon to be without Extremer here.
Oh my god, the frag play from Epsilon is getting crazy here at the moment. And I don't mean Ben crazy, because he was actually still alive. But Epsilon, I love that play on the Spire. They had 2 scouts on the Spire very aggressively, just meat-shotting everyone who came up and just really taking down the health of players left and right, getting one, then a second pick, and obviously that secures Epsilon the side. But they're gonna have to push very quickly here, though, DJC. As we only have 40 seconds remaining. They need to cap 3 points. I don't think they can wait for this Uber.
Yeah, they don't have their demo with them right now. They do take JoeyC down, however. They have both soldiers in house right now. Looks like they're rotating through choke. They don't have time to get fancy. They pop their Uber, get good damage on the soldier. Infused does not have Uber yet. There's only 25 seconds, however.
Oh
both soldiers in the demo down. Infused, there's so many down right now. Epsilon need to cap this and push forward. Yeah, they need to push forward right now.
I think if we have 15 seconds left on the clock, there needs to be a scout right there. They need to rush last. We see JoeyC actually already going. Epsilon is rushing this as fast as they possibly can. And I don't think there's enough time here.
Not enough time, no. 5 seconds. If they get on this right now, they might actually get this. Players down for Infused. There's so many down, but there's not enough time. And the round is held by Infused, a 6-5 here with very nearly a clutch play by Epsilon. They had a huge repush into mid and just wiped Infused.
They have sighs of relief, I can tell you that, DJC. Yeah. They were kind of holding on for their lives there. 6 versus 5 is going to be the scoreline here. First map on Badlands. We're moving on to Snakewater, which is the second map here in the Excello ZOWIE TF2 Challenge. Number 4, the invite bracket grand final between Team Infused and Epsilon eSports. Thank you very much for joining us here at VanillaTV. Check us out at vanillatv.org. And for me, Pledge, DJC, and Comedian, see you all next map.